That reminds me of a thought, which is that I wonder if a large fraction of American colleges, the private ones that charge $1 zillion but are not among the sort of best
By the way, we
places.
charge $1 zillion, but we don't actually collect.
Yes.
You should know that college is cheaper today than it was 30 years ago. The net cost to the consumer is less than it ever was. So the fact is, if you chart what the consumer pays for college, it has steadily gone down.
Now that is the most counterintuitive thing I think you've said this evening, because it is now a fixed shibboleth that students are drowning in debt and college is unaffordable. Why is this specious belief out there?
Just go to Bloomberg News and they have a list, which I love, which is called the most affordable of the most expensive. And you'll discover that the net cost to the majority of consumers. So it's a progressive income tax on the very rich. So those of us who are very privileged and get well paid pay full tuition, which I've done, which I'm very proud to have done, by the way, the best money I ever spent. And, but that being said, the rest who cannot afford it, middle class and so, are subsidized at an increasing rate. So in our college, for example, 2/3 get financial aid. So the sticker price goes up, but the percent that pay it either declines slightly. At Harvard, I think it's 30% pay the full price. Now there are some colleges that have a lot of legacy and they have a higher percentage of what we call full payers. But the cost of tuition has been compensated, and Brookings did a study of this. So it's not only our own opinion, but there's been some real data, because a number of third-party sources and institutions are now investing in financial aid. So enabling people to
no, this is a very important point, because that question has so worked its way into higher education policy that one of the great foci of Obama's recent speech was the idea of making community college free. And he's talked a lot about the unaffordability of higher education. And I wonder if what that leads to is an emphasis on more of it as opposed to better of it.
Yeah, it may be. You know, there are two things. First of all, we have missed many opportunities. The state universities in America need to be reinvested in. Their tuitions are too high. No university actually is a place where people get rich. So it's labor intensive. The efficiency that can be created in a university is marginal. And as I said before, a great university is by definition inefficient. It supports people that the rest of society wouldn't tolerate. Theoretical mathematicians, students of Greek and Latin, art historians, people who are about the human imagination that can't do anything practical. We support them. We support their teaching, their research, their communication to the next generation. So the university is not too expensive, but the financing of it and the people going to it is absurd. The state universities, many of the great ones, are now not supported by the state. Michigan, Berkeley, they're essentially private institutions. And that has to change. The country has a false priority, and I think the president, whom I greatly regard, whom I voted for and would vote for again, happens to be slightly wrong on the question. I think high school has to be fixed. Community college doesn't have to be strengthened. I think too much of community college is remedial. The performance rates are too low. This is why we entered the early college field. Our feeling is that young people can start college earlier. So shorten the years of secondary and elementary schooling and let young people start college early. So we have an alternative. It's very admirable to the community college idea. And I think the president is too tied to a utilitarian definition. I agree completely that a good education in the humanities and in history and in foreign languages and literature, all these kinds of things, is hugely important to the crafting of a conscience and of an agenda politically. Why is it that we insist that people read Achebe and Toni Morrison? Is that not a better way to confront what is distinctive about the African-American experience or the African experience than reading some lousy textbook in even the economics of poverty? They're not mutually exclusive. So it seems to me that we do not have proper defenders. I think your point's very well taken. It's really pathetic when you think how little defense there is of what we do, and how inarticulate that defense is.